You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Folks, Tuesday night in Allen, Texas, a vigil was held for 26-year-old Marvin Scott. He died while in police custody in the Collin County Jail. That took place on Sunday. He was arrested earlier that day for alleged possession of marijuana. Allen police were called to the Allen Outlet Mall by security who believed they smelled marijuana on Scott's person. According to the attorney Lee Merritt, Scott was incoherent when officers approached him, which led him then to take him to Texas Health Presbyterian, where doctors signed off saying Scott was, quote, fit to be incarcerated. While incarcerated, Scott suffered several mental health episodes, leading to detention officers trying to restrain him in his cell. Merritt says the use of force against Scott was overtly physical. 7 employees have been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. Before we get to the treatment of him, Amisha, by the cops, this is a perfect example of why you shouldn't be arresting people for simple possession of marijuana.
Absolutely. I don't think that you're going to find any argument there. At this point, I think that you can't be someone who stands for and supports criminal justice reform, but also is okay with people being arrested, being brutalized over simple possession of, in most cases, small amounts of marijuana. At the end of the day, right now, marijuana, the sale of marijuana from, white distributors is legal in a ton of states. White men are making money off of what they have brutalized and locked up Black people for now for over 5 decades. I think at this point, we need to revisit this process. We need to make sure that people are not getting arrested on marijuana charges in general, but also that we as a nation are really putting the onerous on these policing units because the behavior that we're seeing is completely ridiculous. And it should not take 15, 20, 30, 40 more videos before we get to a point where excessive use of force is something that is eradicated across policing entities.
See, Reese, there's a report that was done by the National Association of Social Workers that suggests there needs to be a better collaboration between social workers and police. This, in order to, first of all, reduce these sort of cases, reduce racist incidents, but more importantly, deal with people who have mental illness. And that's the thing. When San Francisco talked about sending social workers out instead of sending cops out, you saw a dramatic difference in how cases were resolved. This man is dead because he had a mental disorder, and a person, and if you get rid of the archaic laws or have a DA who says, no, I'm not going to prosecute simple possession of marijuana, the guy's still living. And so, again, we love to talk about, well, what happened to him in the jail, but if you deal with the stuff on the front end, he's never in jail.
Sorry,
Reese's
okay.
on mute. I can't hear Reese.
I got it. What's crazy is that there was actually a doctor who signed off on him being quote unquote fit to go to jail. Why would you sign off on sending him to be incarcerated when he's in the middle of a mental health episode? And again, to Amisha's point, why is he even getting arrested over simple possession of marijuana? And then when you're at the jail facility, why aren't there people who have the training to deal with people who are having mental health episodes? It's so ridiculous that so many of these police brutality and these deaths are occurring from people who are having mental health episodes or who are spurred in the process of being, brutalized or unfairly detained into having these breakdowns. And so there's a lot of blame to go around here, but especially shame on that doctor who has a lens towards incarceration instead of having a lens towards rehabilitation or towards actually dealing with the situation with this gentleman was dealing with.
That's right.
Greg, cascading failure. Again, security officers call them, say, I smell marijuana.
Right.
Who gives a damn if your ass smell marijuana? All right? That's the first deal. Cops come there, they arrest him. And then take him to a hospital. Doctor signs off. Then you go to the jail, several issues and how the jail restrains him. Cascading errors. At any point, security officer, cops, doctor. If any of those people do the right thing, he's never detained in the jail cell. That's why we have to think about what is happening, Greg, holistically.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, brother. I mean, the first thing we have to do is decide as a country that they didn't do the right thing. And there is no we. I'm just saying that kind of rhetorically because there is no clearly those people thought, if you smell marijuana in D.C., they've decriminalized it. You can't call the police. Of course, this is a different place. Texas, they all did the right thing because they're policing black bodies, whether it be deputy police like that white boy sitting out in front of Kamala Harris and Doug Inhofe's house, or whether it be this security guard. They see, okay, this brother Marvin Scott Jr., his parents got to now preside over a funeral. But guess what? We know a couple of things. We know that marijuana is going to be legalized in the United States shortly. Why? Last week, 8 days ago, the lower chamber of the Mexican legislature voted to legalize marijuana. It's going to pass the Senate in Mexico, and Lopez Obrador is going to sign it. That is 2 years after Canada legalized it. Mexico got 130 million people. They are primed to be the largest exporter of legal marijuana in the world, and their major client is going to be those states in this country that have already legalized marijuana. The market, in other words, is going to force, because now the United States is going to be sandwiched between two countries that are going to be exporting. I'm sorry, number two in exporting marijuana is Canada. The business market is going to force these coward politicians to legalize marijuana. But that's not going to do Marvin Scott Jr. any good, because like Kamala Harris, like those sisters down there in Georgia, he is not white, which means every white person is deputized to regulate his life and death. And they're going to bring him back off suspension after they said, well, y'all follow procedure. He just, I guess, what the hell, not guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Again, and this is why, again, as we go back to is when you use the phrase defund the police, hey, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about the shifting of resources away from cops to social services. Mm-hmm. That's what they're talking about, Amisha.
No, you're absolutely correct. This is a case that should have never been handed to the cops. At the end of the day, when you know that somebody has a mental health disorder, and this was a verifiable mental health disorder, you do not treat them in the way that we saw this man get treated. First and foremost, we know that police themselves, as well as the sheriffs and county officials, they don't have experience in, nor have they been trained in how to deal with mental health and mental illness. Therefore, they should not be the people called out or the people who we expect to lead in advocacy or know how to take care of individuals who are having mental health episodes. What I do think we need to do, and what funding should go towards, is more social services, more wraparound services. Right now in America, 9 in 10 people who are sitting in jails across this country have verifiable mental health issues. That is a ridiculous number of people. That tells me that our issue is over-criminalizing, or criminalizing in general, mental health and mental illness. We're not technically criminalizing actual behaviors in terms of things that are violent acts. The majority of people who are serving time in federal prisons as well as our state prisons aren't there because they killed somebody, not there because they stabbed somebody. They're there because they have mental health issues. And that tells me something about how we treat our policing and how our policing needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.